So in this video I'm going to demonstrate how to use Kali Linux in order to create a Trojan virus using MSFPayload and MSFEncode. The specific virus that we're going to try to create is basically going to shut down the computer, and then every single time the computer reboots back up it's going to shut it down again. So it's going to be a total denial of service virus. So we'll start by opening up a terminal, and then ls to list the contents of our current directory, and here you'll see that we have a sol.exe file. This is actually the solitaire executable that you'll find on a lot of Windows systems. So in order to see what it does, we'll use Wine, which is a Windows emulator, in Kali. And there you have it, our solitaire executable. So we'll close that out, and what we're going to do is we're going to use that solitaire executable as the source for our Trojan virus. So we'll use the command MSFPayload, and then we'll specify the payload that we want to use. So Windows execute, and then we'll specify the command that we want to execute, and we'll open up a string, command.exe, and then the command that we want to pass, the command shell, and we'll use a backslash as an escape file so that we don't actually close out the string, and then we'll pass it execute shutdown.exe -r for restart -f for force and -c to enter the comment that we want to pass whenever it shuts down. Now this is actually going to be creating the file that will be used to restart the computer on a regular basis. So we're going to echo this into a batch file. So we're going to pass it over to a batch file on the C directory called deathcycle.bat. Now once again, notice the two backslashes in this directory. That's because we have to use a backslash escape character in order to use an additional backslash. So now we'll use ampersand to append another command to it, and this one we're going to create a registry key that's used to start that batch file every time the system reboots. So we'll add a key to high-key local machine, and then software, Microsoft, Windows, current version, run, and then we'll use a /v to specify the value, and we'll use death cycle, and then a /t to specify the type of value, so we'll use reg_sz, and then /d, and then specify the data of that value. And in this case we're going to use the file name that we want to execute every single time the system is rebooted. So once again, deathcycle.bat, which was the batch file that we had wrote to with the previous command. And then we'll use ampersand one more time to add a final command that's going to shut down the system as soon as the virus takes effect. And once again, -r for restart, -f for force, -c to enter a comment, and we'll use game over, man, game over. And then we want to pipe that over to MSFEncode in order to encode it into our solitaire file. So we'll use T for type, and we'll use executable, and then -x to specify that we want to integrate it into that sol.exe file, -k to keep the functionality of the original file, which this unfortunately doesn't always work very well. -o to specify the output, so we'll use solitaire.exe, then -e to specify the type of encoding, we'll use x86 shikata, and then -c to specify the number of iterations or passes that are used on this encoding. And then we launch it. So then we get the error that the sol.exe file is not located within the templates directory. So what we want to do is copy that directory path. And then we want to use the copy command, cp, and then sol.exe, and we want to copy it to that directory. Then we'll run our command once again. And there you have it. Our Trojan virus has now been created. If we use ls, we can see it here as solitaire.exe. Now we'll switch over to our Windows machine, and I have already dropped our Trojan virus here on the desktop. And as you can see, the file looks pretty normal. So let's say our user gets bored one day at work and decides that he's going to use his solitaire. So as you can see, it just says regular solitaire game applet. Double click on it and it executes the virus. And here we get our message, game over man, game over. And after a countdown of 30 seconds, the system shuts down. We'll skip ahead a little bit to 1 second left and then shuts the system down. Once the system reboots, you'll notice that it is executed immediately again. Here with our message that was provided to the batch script. So this would continue in an infinite loop for anyone who didn't know how to actually extract this virus from their system. But since I know the background command that's being used, I'll just open up command prompt and I can actually abort the command by using shutdown.exe-a. And now that we've done that, let's look at what the virus actually loaded on our system so that we can see what we need to do in order to extract it. So we'll start with going to my computer and then the C directory, and here's the batch file that was created. If we edit it, we can see that the command that was echoed into that file is exactly what we see here. Shutdown.exe-r-f-c and then the comment. So the first thing we'd need to do is delete that. And then the other thing that was added was the registry key. So if we go to regedit, and here we have our high key local machine software, Microsoft Windows current version run, and our death cycle value that is specifying the file to execute. So we would want to remove that as well. And finally, to prevent it from starting all over again, we would want to remove the actual virus itself. So click yes, and there we have both created a denial of service Trojan virus in Kali Linux, executed it successfully on a Windows system, and now we have removed it from the system. So thanks again for watching, guys. See you next time.